Hello, fabulous friends, fans, and superstars. Welcome to Synchronicity Web TV. I am your host, Nadiya Shah, and this is your moment of synchronicity. Now, this is actually a bit of a hybrid kind of moment here because actually I am with my Aunt Shireen, and we're actually here at what I call the superstar parties. So every full moon, I get together with my superstars at NadiyaShahSuperstars.com, and we just hang out for a while. We do a meditation. I answer their questions. And once in a while, my Aunt Shireen joins us as she is right now. And I've let superstars know that, look, a few bits of what I talk about with Shireen are going to end up on YouTube, which is what those of you who are friends and fans watching this on YouTube right now as part of Synchronicity Web TV, well, that's what you're getting. And so what can be said about my incredible Aunt Shireen Khan at ShireenKhanShine.com? She truly has been a source of wisdom in my life for pretty much my entire life. And I feel like so much of who I am and what I share with you guys week to week over the years, so much of that wisdom actually comes from her. It's because of the things that I learned through her, or because of her, through her guidance, through her counsel, directly and indirectly. So much of who I am today and what I have to share is because she has been a spiritual mentor and a person of love in my family to me. And so I love that I get to share her with you and celebrate her with you. And we're going to talk about some insight, life coaching advice that some other people asked for. But also we're going to talk about me a little bit, and we'll see how much of that actually ends up in the final video because I end up feeling really vulnerable. But yeah, Shireen, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me, Nadiya. Always a pleasure.
Oh, I love you so much. And thank you to everybody, all the superstars who are here participating in this moment. We appreciate each and every one of you. And we're here, Shireen is here to answer your questions. I'll bring in a little bit of the astrology as well. But ShireenKhanShine.com. She is a life coach, a Reiki Master, and has so much to offer. And so you're going to get to see a little bit of that, like where I get my wisdom. Well, you're going to get to see it here today. So I want to actually jump in here. Hello, everybody who's here. I'm going to actually ask and jump right into it, Shireen, and ask a question. Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here, superstars. Okay, so here's a question that came in, and I wanted to ask you about this. It says, my husband and I live far from our aging parents, quite far in a different city, and we both worry a lot about them, so much so that I constantly live in fear, very scared of losing them. This has developed in only the last few months. Is this normal? How to change my situation? So what do you think about that? Like somebody who, I know for me personally, I will say, being Desi, being South Asian origin, kids carry a lot of guilt. Let me just say that.
I was just going to say that. I was just going to say that these emotions, if I had to guess, it would be coming from guilt. Mm-hmm. And yeah, so it's guilt and the fear of losing them. First of all, it's very normal because we never want to lose our people we love, especially our parents. And it's very normal to feel fearful around that subject. Now, I know she said that it's been going on just started a while ago. I would like to know what really triggered that it started. Like what happened? What kind of emotions were created? What kind of conversations took place in your home to create this situation besides that the parents are not well? So it's guilt. We don't have to feel guilty because we all have to go. We can't feel guilty. But also I will invite them to go inside and really investigate inside that what do they really want? Like, would they really want to be there, but they can't be there? I think that's what's really causing the guilt. Now, I think there are two things they can do. One is either have one of the partners go see them and take turns. If the parents are too far and they cannot go, then they can maybe have someone there informing them the parent situation. This world is so small now, it's virtual. You can literally be with somebody. You just can't touch them, but they can feel you. They know you're there, and that's what matters. Sometimes even in physicality, you can go there, but you cannot be with them as much as you could be with them in virtual reality. So you could do that. But I would not feel, go ahead.
Okay. I want to say, I think that in certain families And also in certain cultures, there can be a lot of guilt in general. Like there's a sense of obligation or responsibility that we might feel, especially for our parents. And I think that in cultures where the nucleus of the culture is the family, then that tends to be sort of a virtue, right? To feel that sense of obligation or responsibility for your parents. In cultures where the nucleus of the culture is the individual, like we see in Western cultures, not as much. It's a little bit less. But I know it can be very interesting. You and I both, Shireen, are like East and West, right? We've got both of that in us. We've got our Eastern roots, but we're very much of that Western mind, independent women. And so it can be interesting to navigate as somebody who is independent and believes very strongly that if your parents do a good job, you are going to go, right? Like if your parents do a good job, you're going to be an independent person who can go out and engage the world and do whatever it is that you want to do with your life. And so that's a good thing. But at the same time, there's this feeling, this sense of, I don't know, like, is it a virtue? Is it that we feel we owe them? Like, what is that guilt about?
It's obligation. It's obligation that, and we feel bad that we cannot be there. A lot of people have financial issues that they cannot just pick up and go and leave their jobs. They have their lives here. So I would say to prioritize and live with that decision. Whatever the decision you make, you got to live with it.
Okay, so here's another distinction. I will take me as an example, okay? For me, it's not financial, right? For me, I have a Sagittarius moon, I have an Aquarius sun. If I got to go, I got to go, right? For me, if I'm going to be at peace with myself, if I'm going to honor my soul, it means that I can love my parents and do everything that I can for them. And yet there are limits to that. And yet something in me, ever since I was little, maybe I got it from you because I think you were my example, but something in me knows that I have to live true to something within myself. And I only really know it when I'm on the road, when I'm traveling, when I'm in different cultures and different languages. Something within me feels at peace in those environments in a way that I don't when I'm home. As much as I love my parents and I'm so grateful to them. So I am making a choice that is not financial. I'm making a decision not to be home. And yet there's guilt. And other people in the extended family put that guilt, like I should feel guilty because I'm a single person without kids and not married. I have an obligation to stay home and take care of my parents. This is very, very challenging for me. So what would you say to somebody like me where it's not about the financial part? It's that I'm finding these different, a part of me loves my parents. I want to be with them as much as possible. Of course, they are so deeply meaningful to me and their love means a lot to me. But I know, a part of my soul knows, I have to be a free bird as well. So what would you advise me in this situation then? I got the guilt. What do I do with it?
Yeah. So, once you make your decision, okay, we're all human. We're going to feel emotions. The best part about being human is you are allowed to feel emotions, whatever you want to feel, but you also have to know that these are emotions, they'll pass. And you still have to do your thing in your life. You made the decision. Now you know how to live with that decision and live comfortably. That's what's important. So you go travel, you're feeling guilty and everything, but you also made the decision. The part of you still with them, you still contact them. They still know that you're okay. Wherever you go, you call them. They know exactly where you are. They probably it's like a track. They have a track on you. So,
like
right?
literally,
So,
yes.
Literally, right? Literally, yeah. So living with the decision that you made is very important. You have to accept it. Completely accept it. And when you feel, just let the feeling go through. No, you're not a robot. You're going to feel this, and it's okay to feel that. It's okay to feel the emotions that you're not with them. But it's also find comfort in yourself that you're doing your best for you and for your parents. You are there. They brought you up to be your own person, and exactly that's what you're doing. Sometimes they don't even ask us to be obligated, but we feel obligated, and it stops us to become who we are. So the whole thing is like do you. And once you do you, it spreads out. The energy spreads out, and they also feel comfortable when you're happy. Once you're feeling obligated and guilty, and it goes through a phone call, it goes through like they pick up on it. Everybody picks up on energy, especially when you're connected as parents and child, So make your decision, live with it, and be happy with it. In this case, the couple has to make a decision what's best for them. They have to prioritize, because if they can't travel, they just can't travel. It happens. If they can, I would say go. But if you can't, then you can't. And again, I suggested that one person can go, either the husband or the wife can take turns and go back and forth if they have the means to do that, or have someone appointed there to inform them of what's going on.
Now, I've found as well in my own life that the times when I'm really wanting to be home or see my parents, or I feel like I'm thinking about them a lot more, worried, sometimes, not always, but sometimes it's because something in my own life doesn't feel secure or doesn't feel steady. And, on a level of our psyche, like home is always that safe space for us. And it's almost like a part of me. Sometimes, not always. Sometimes I visit them because I feel like, okay, it's time, I got to go. But sometimes there really is that yearning to be with them more and more. And sometimes it's because I am not feeling secure with some circumstance taking place in my own life. And so it's almost like the part of me that is feeling I want to be with them. It's actually a part of me that is looking for some stability within. And that's what's the deeper yearning there. So something has created instability. Maybe I'm not ready to look at it, but then that.
Well, we all need support system. And where do we go when it's our parents? Because we know that no matter what they say, no matter how bad they make us feel, but they are the ones that really truly love us unconditionally. So when we feel that we're lacking love in any department of our life, we want to go where we know we're going to find unconditional love. That's why you keep on going back to your parents when you're feeling lack of something in your life, when you feel that something is off. You just want to go hug your mom, hug your dad, get their advice, get their wisdom in you. That's your support system. So you can't deny it. You want to be there when you need them. And lucky to have them.
Yeah. Well, ideally, I do want to say that ideally, not everybody has that type of relationship with their parents. For some people, maybe both of their parents or neither of their parents are with us. And for some people, they, for their own well-being may choose to limit contact with their parents as well. But that's not what we're talking about in this particular situation. We're talking about a sense of wanting to be with them. It's the guilt that really seemed to come through in the email and wanting guidance on that. I know for me, like, I literally feel like my mom is wherever I am every single day because I talk to her on video. So before it used to be FaceTime, and then WhatsApp took over the world. Now it's WhatsApp, right? Our phones are listening to us. Like anything my mom and I talk about, we start seeing ads of it everywhere we go on the web. But yeah, like everywhere I go, I'm literally like talking to her. It's like she's right there in the room with me. I'm able to show her, look, this is my airplane seat. This is my, the room. This is the bed. This is the curtains, all of that. And so it's like sharing that journey, even though it's more and more virtual than ever before. And just to bring in a little astrology here, that trend of living more in the virtual space, I have to say, is only going to continue. Right now, we've got Saturn in Aquarius. As Saturn leaves, Pluto's going to start entering Aquarius. So this idea that we are going to live more and be connected more virtually than ever before, and maybe not as much physically, is part of the direction that we are going in where it comes to humanity. And so, yeah, right now it's showing up in terms of our relationship with our family members, for example, where virtually we're connecting with them, energetically we're connecting with them, even if physically we can't be there as well. Now, I would also add, I wanted to add this because I remember one time, I forget what happened, but I was traveling and my mom made a joke and I didn't realize she was making a joke and I freaked out and I got so worried about her. And then finally I reached her and I was like, oh my God, I was so worried about you. Maybe something happened. And she was like, okay, look, I'm in Canada. No matter what happens, I'm going to be okay. Like, you don't have to worry about that, right? I could pick up the phone, I can get an ambulance or whatever. I have so many people, my sisters, whatever. So you don't have to worry. And I thought that was so interesting that she made that point, because it's like, I think we worry a lot, but it's like we worry about the things that ultimately we have no power over. Even if I was here, whatever would be happening with her, at the end of the day, I don't have any power over certain things with her, her life, her well-being. And I don't have power over so much of what happens in life with the people that we love. And I think reconciling ourselves with that, like whether or not we're physically present, reconciling ourselves with the fact that in many ways we are powerless, especially where it comes to the love we have for people and how much we're able to actually protect them. Finding peace with that, I think, is a part of maturity as well.
Yeah, the fear itself is anticipating that has not taken place. So you are living not in the moment at all. So fear does not exist, only exist in our head. And whatever happens to us happens inside of us. So if you cannot choose what happens inside of us, how can we choose what happens outside of us? So we really have to look at fear as something that is not going to happen. It's just a fear. And fear of parents are leaving us or passing on. That is a normal fear, but it should only limit to an extent where how I'm going to deal with it when that happens, how I'm going to roll with the dice. Like, you have to think of these things and be logical, because it's not going to, emotions and guilt, it's not going to help you and it's not going to help them either. And on the other side of like virtual, I know some of my clients, when their parents got sick or they got sick and they were admitted to the hospital, they could not see, nobody could see them because of COVID. So it was all like the nurses had the FaceTime that they were helping their patients to talk with their parents or talk with whoever they wanted to speak with. So that really was in like big thing happening at the hospital, where nurses were actually there helping. So we were kind of forced into talk virtually in that sense. The parents was outside sitting in the car, and the son is inside, have COVID, cannot get out, and they were still being able to connect and communicate. So that's something that it's not forced upon them, but that's something that is really feasible. You could do that. You could connect virtually, you could connect with them in that
So there's some action steps and some wisdom as well. And now I'm going to use that as a bit of a segue, because there were a couple of things I wanted to ask you about, Shireen, before I let you go. So one of the things was the world, right? The world, lots of things happen in the world, on the world stage, that make us feel powerless or make us feel very sad for what's taking place in different parts of the world. I know how there have been so many times in my life when I've seen of some tragedy taking place in the world, and I feel so much compassion and also so much powerlessness over what can I actually do for the suffering of these people in certain parts of the world. And I know right now, a lot of the world is focused on what's happening in Europe with the war and things like that. And so what advice would you give for people when they go through those times? Because there's a lot of tragedy and there's a lot of sadness and a lot of injustices that happen in many places around the world. And as we become aware, and especially for sensitive souls, we're going to feel that, right? We're going to be compassionate to the suffering of others. And so how do we deal with those times when we feel ourselves so empathetic that it feels like we're overcome with sadness, perhaps?
To me, it's like, if you're not part of a solution, then you're part of the problem. So how can we deal with that? We have to go inside again and contribute our best energy that we could, because energetically we're all connected. I've been doing Reiki for over 20 years, and I know how we are connected. Sometimes when I do distance Reiki, my clients could hear my voice that I'm telling them to relax, or I'm telling them to let that go. And they actually tell me that I heard you and I let that go. That just goes to show me that how we are connected through our minds, through our way of thinking. If everybody can just be where they are and live their life, because there's not much you can do. Other people are doing what they have to do, but we can only do our part, is to meditate globally, make this world a better place. And you will see the ripple effect. You will actually start meeting people who are doing the same thing and joining and saying, like, we're having groups of meditation. We're sending positive energy into this world and creating this world, making it a more positive, energetic place. I would say do that and live in the moment. We never know. Even I'm not going to be here in the morning. So living in fears or living in anxiety, it does not make sense. It's there, let it go through you, but always keep on telling yourself, reinforce that I'm a positive energy. I can do something with sitting in my room, create positive energy and not be fearful, because when we're fear, it just accumulates so much faster around us than positive energy. We actually have to really work with our energy, rewire ourselves, collect our energy to actually contribute to the world. So I personally, that's what I do. I just make positive energy, and I just said I'm sending my energy to all those people out there who are suffering. And if I could be a part of my energy, a drop of my energy could make them feel better and safer, I'm there for them. So if everyone does that, it really works. It really does work. I've done it in small groups and bigger groups, and people have come out being different, feeling positive, and actually motivated to make a change in their own lives. So make a change in your life and be positive for others, not just for you. Just be bright. If you're bright, then the person who sees you would also be bright. So just stay bright all the time. That's what I do for me. And that's what I say to people around me.
I think that compassion is such a gift, right? Because it's empathy, and it allows us to know that we're not alone when we know we can feel the journeys of others. And, I love how you talked about sending that positive, loving intention. It reminds me of the Buddhist prayer, right? May all beings know peace. May all beings suffering now know peace, know calm. And so this idea of wanting to focus more on peace and calm and love, and to emphasize that intentionally, is very old, right? It is one of the foundational spiritual teachings of our times, that's for sure. And at the same time, yes, give your energy. And if that's what you want to do, awesome. There are lots of people who are inspired to do practical things as well, like inspired to take action, whether that's giving money or whether that's other ways in which you're helping other people. Some people are much more immersive in the action that they take. Whatever it is that inspires you, I would also say trust that inspiration and where it is that they take you, because it's a wonderful thing, the intention that we put out. Of course, I absolutely love that. I'm also really, really grateful for the people who are on the ground actually helping those people as well.
Yes, yeah,
very practically. I want to send them a lot of love as well, them a lot of strength as well, because it's a very special person who will actually open their home or change their life and their time, or travel to those places where there is suffering taking place with the intention of being a force of positive change. That's a very special soul as well.
Yeah, like Doctors Without Borders. That's amazing when you volunteer your time. Time is everything. And personally, I know that there's shortage of food all around the world, and I like to give food. So that helps a lot to people, because that keeps you alive. And also I wanted to say one more thing. When you have emotions like thoughts where you're feeling negative, or you're feeling empathetic, where you cannot do anything, you feel limited, go opposite. So if you feel guilty, feel freedom. If you feel sad, feel glad that I'm feeling sad, so I'm glad that I can do something. So every time you have an emotion, just switch it. And it's going to take work. It's going to take time. But once it's inside you, the rewiring, where you change your emotions right away, you will see the joy of living. It'll be a pure joy to live and making decisions. We all can make decisions all the time. Every moment of our lives, we're making decisions. We don't even know. But if you become aware of that you're making decision every time, all the time, it's a beautiful thing. It's empowering. you know that you're doing something for you and for others. I would tell everyone to really start noticing when you're making decision all the time. It becomes normal, natural to make the best decision for yourself and for others.
That's so beautiful. Thank you so much, Shireen. So again, ShireenKhanShine.com. You can find my Aunt Shireen online, life coach, Reiki Master, and so much more. Source of wisdom in my life. Thank you so much for being here, Shireen. I love you so much.
Thank you so much for having me here and there. I just love you and your show and your fans and your superstars. They're all amazing. I read them all the time. I look at your site and such great things about you this day. I love it.
Well, thank you, Shireen. I love you so much. And we will be in touch. And I want to thank everybody out there for watching. And until we connect again, take care. Bye.
Bye.